What? Hello. What are you doing here? 0033. Not one purpose. Yep, 33 minutes past the hour of midnighteth on Saturday the 10th of August. Dejour soverignty, while the nation limps its way, walks its way home of this Friday night, Saturday morning, with its face buried in kebabs and curries and the like, not knowing who, what, why, when and where. I've been making notes, and I'm a little bit disappointed because I had intended this night's cast to be about the Hammurabi Code and the 282 secular codified law from Babylon, and I was going to talk to you about the kingship there of Hammurabi, who was a ruler in Babylon about 100 years after it opened. This is pre-Christian gnosis that I wanted to bring you, but it's been superseded by the universe, as it does, and we're going to talk about de jure sovereignty. We're putting a pin in that Babylon Hammurabi Code, civil law, secular. I did cover with King Nebuchadnezzar and the Book of Daniel 2. Some part of Babylon, and the one thing I haven't ever said is that I did notice the ites come from there. You know, ites, Hittites, Israelites. There's a lot of ites there. Amorites, they're important. Amorites, I think that's how I read it. So, happy Saturday morning, and random cast for those that aren't drunk, you know, along the streets and partying out there. Get a pen. Thank you for subscribing and joining, and get ready for something which I'd like to lay down before going to bed and enjoying tomorrow, Saturday, bit of peace and quiet. I have some emails to attend to and a bit on the .com. I've got some files I want to upload that are related to this particular document. But they're not file documents I've done, they're just historical old documents that are good for study for the self-initiates. Here we go. Enough waffling. The birth certificate, there are two, as you may or may not know, a long form and a short form. One of them is your stillborn ID. The Christian remedy has been under our noses all along. The foundation identity document, the statement of birth and birth certificate. So there I've used some words. I'll apologise and say now that the terminology used is not by choice, and it's not my terminology. So apologies in advance, you know, at your peril barrel when you involve yourself in this realm. But with regards to a stillborn ID, that's simply as cutthroat as it gets. Yes, cutthroat. I'm sorry, I'll apologise now if this presentation and video renders anything you know, upsetting to you as a mum or a dad, as a father or a mother. That you know, I'm aware myself. I have been in this realm, and when I wrote these words, I thought that's a bit cutting, you know, cutting edge. You know, again, it's a bit cutthroat. It's a bit harsh. But no, we need to stop. You know, not so much as Pazio, no, but a little bit more in the mix now. So apologies in advance, genuinely, from I to you. But there's a reason for this, and each word, this is rough notes. It isn't finished, but I don't want to go to bed without laying this down in some form for the family. It's posted on the .com, and it's been put on the Facebook realm. So I thought I've left you out. I left you out, you know what I mean? I couldn't go to bed with a clear conscience, knowing that some of the fam, who have we got? Two. Well, there we go. So I'm glad I attended. Look, just for you too. If you'd like to say hello, don't be shy. Give it a try. From the top, the birth certificate. There are two, long form and short form. One of them is your stillborn ID. The Christian, not yours, but so we'll change that now, is a stillborn ID. The Christian remedy has been under our noses all along. The foundation identity document, statement of birth, and indeed the birth certificate. Listen, scribes and self-initiate. People are not registered. Only events are registered. The foundation documents are involuntary with respect to every child, because the child has nothing to do with them. And you are registered, you are little, you don't know what's going on, you know, it's not by your choice or knowledge or knowing or doing. The birth certificate shows the child to be civilly dead to the world and therefore under the protection of the government, the public guardian and trustee as parens patri, which I've spelt wrong again. I missed out the I-T-V-A-T-I-R-E. That's how it goes. It doesn't get recognised. It's in the other documents that we've put in the key competence into the trust aspect. Parens patri was mentioned. What I picked up off Brother Franco Collins, it might have been. The child is originally a non-participant and dead to the civil world of sin city, you know. Unfortunately, we temporarily lost our inheritance and we went down the prodigal son journey. When we left the public protection of the original covenant, the civilly dead birth certificate, we dishonoured our parents when we volunteered to enter into an adulterous relationship by joining the third party arrangement. In a surety position for the social insurance identity registration for selfish private gain, capital gains, you know, gain, selfish private gain, cyclical consumption, consumers in themselves. I'm not a consumer, but I have been previously mixed up for one. Selfish private gain, which breached the peace and the public trust. We joined the collective under democracy and by volunteering into participation in the civil world, we violated in some aspects, some might say, all of God's commandments. Didn't put an exclamation mark there, that's worthy of a boosh. You should be able to do what it takes to get back to your original position at the tree. Which tree? Well, I'll let you work that out. As a branch, kind of what you would be doing is rejoining the tree as a branch. Not a branch as in a high street branch, but as in a branch as in a wooden branch, as in a twig, a stig, you know, under the care of the public guardian and trustee as government, as parents patri, until Christ returns. So when we registered for sin, the social insurance and the tax identification and whatnot, we became a trustee and surety for an innocent party because we said that we can work and pay off the debt by our willing participation, willing, voluntary, either or, participation. Pick up a penguin. I know, Peter Piper picked a pickled pepper. To pick up pepper, Peter Piper picked. But I can't say participation. Unfortunately, money is debt, and nobody can pay a debt with a debt, can they? See Professor Richard Werner. Continuous self-improvement. There is no way to earn your salvation by working it off. By volunteering into the social insurance number. We walked away from a conscientious objector position as a non-participant being civilly dead under the birth certificate. Therefore, the remedy to stop participating and to return to our original position under the equity under the birth certificates. So we need to look at a certain aspect of that. A child is not a volunteer. No child could ever be a volunteer in law. And what does one of the equitable maxims say about volunteers? What does it say there, scribes and fam? It says, doesn't aid, volunteer, something like that. In law, a child, infant or infantry, infant is part of infantry, infantry is part of infant, child is considered to be unarmed. And a child may not be harmed. Should there be an injury or tort committed against a child, the one that injured the child must also provide relief in equity under law. The long form statement of live birth certificate comes first, and this leads to an extract, which is the short form wallet size state birth certificate equivalent to the federal citizenship. certificate. So the citizen birth certificate is both an accord, a peace treaty, I didn't put that in brackets, because then that makes that bit more apparent, and a proof of satisfaction, proof of payment. Everything was satisfied, incorrect, and no performance is required from the child. Performance actors perform, performance fee schedule. Going to the court performing. The birth certificate is a voucher, and as a child cannot vouch for itself, the birth certificate is really a still birth certificate, because every child is born, birthed, really civilly dead, not physically dead, to the world of sin. Woe man's remedy is the birth certificate. The ambiguous name written on the birth certificate is written in, yes, what did I used to say in my dyslexia? I used to say revision, but it's written in reversion. With what the backwards. Just as the dead victims of war are brought back, and just as it is written on the secular tombstone in a graveyard, or if you're in the stateside across the pond, a cemetery, Ledger, Gloucester Channel, Romley Stewart, etc. Oxford Styles Manual, Chicago Styles Manual, etc. Yes. Get to know. An example of that would be in the form of Smith John. Instead of John Smith, it would be Smith John. Government is structured as a not-for-profit charity for the public good. A child whom is civilly dead does not have the ability to participate in the secular civil society, Granville and there's Gladys. That's because what? You become the legal age at what? 18 or 20, 21, so forth and so on. Rights, entitlements, liberties and freedoms are bestowed upon man at the age of majority for 21, the final hurdle of the key to the door. Put that in the bin, we don't need that. So secular civil society. To be clear, the birth certificate is a public document which will protect the child from having to participate in the private secular civil society up until a certain age. The child is an involuntary non-participant protected by the public authority, that is government, as parens patri. Husband, nanny state, yes Lex Rex, here we go. But most parents are voluntary participants on the opposite side, acting as a mere private person in a mixed war against public authority government. The citizen birth certificate, also known as the token of value or the security of a person, is for the protection of the child. We lose the public protection as an innocent child when we entered into voluntary adultery, into the third party private social insurance registration evil sinful system, in order to trade for money, acting as a prostitute hired for money in a collective, democratic, secular, godless civil society for selfish gain. Feel the wrath. Alright, when I say dejour sovereignty, you feeling me, fam? We continue on. We have ignorantly left involuntary public position of the child by joining the voluntary adulterous private sin system. We took over the surety position to defend the title, armed surname, and we lost the protection of the public authority. The public authority government of secular society are peacekeepers. When people volunteer into the private sin system, they disturb the peace because they are no longer resting in peace. Are we still at war? Shh. Why are we at war? Penny drop. Gosh, that's what we do. When woman's man of the womb, rests in peace, we are civilly dead, stillborn, spiritually dead to the world of sin. Sin. A conscientious objector is a non-participant. A Christian is a non-participant, and therefore be exempt from participation in the secular world and its secular court system. So the Christians out there, I'm not here to test anything. To the Catholics, to all of you bestowed with that. It's just thinking food here. But I will ask you, can a Christian be a citizen? We'll come back to that, all right? Serious question. Can a Christian be a citizen? While we're on with this. And therefore be exempt from participation in the secular world and its secular. Objector is a non-participant. A Christian is a non-participant and therefore be exempt from participation in the secular world and its secular court system. The fact that we have found equity within our law enables an individual to be a non-participant and enables them to obtain their, it does always say his, but sisters in the house, big love, it allows you to obtain our necessity. One must ask, if you expect to receive, have you made communication to the higher powers of government? What? Yes, that's where we are now. To express that you are conscience stricken. I cannot be sure with a clear conscience. Hear these words, lock them in, make them your friend. To express that you are conscience stricken and that you cannot no longer participate in the secular civil societies. I was going to elaborate on that with divided pagan Rome, and but there's still time. These are bare bones, rough notes before bed. I give to you, to the night scribes, the night time. Got into house mode. The night time. That was an old classic from the 90s. You can remember that lady's name, who was the artist on that. Kim English, I can't resist it. Kim English, In the Night Time, classic. Right, back to dejour sovereignty in the mix. It is now our time, your time, man's time, Babylon crumbling time. What time is it, everybody? Hammer time, can't touch this. All of that and more with the remix. It is now the time to opt out of this 2020 vision, pagan divided Club of Rome civil system of sin, and we can reside in a peaceful manner and indeed be a non-militant, non-participant in this game of death. When the Romans crucified Christ, Jesus, the Messiah, etc., he redeemed man. He died for our sins. Consider what being a true Christian is all about. Consider. That's all I said. I said consider. Working for charity. Taking any kind of money and profit is sinful and indeed devilish behaviour. So then, scribes, tribes, family, if we decide to become non-participants in this ungodly war, then the government should have provisions, one would think, for man, moving from the general public to the private office and claiming life, remedy, maintenance, and indeed that essential cure. All right? They have a public duty, I do believe, I will tell you now, to look after what? The public name. Christian given name is public and the surname debtor is private. So that's 3 pages. 1,100 words and 3 pages. Me. So I've got 1311, 111 and the 3. By accident, my own thing. It's just on. I'm going to show you because Tube, you need to know. You need to know my life's crazy. It's just a random note on Word, I've labelled it, no copy and paste. It's got red things everywhere because of bad spelling. See, that's the actual document I've just read from. I created it myself on this crappy little laptop. And down here, 2 or 3. And as I finished it, look at that, it's just magnificent. Random little things that make you happy at daft o'clock in mornings. 3 of 3, 1100. They speak to me, these numbers. I say, all right, Dave, you're doing all right there, kid. Carry on. So if ever you've wondered how I can back up being indeed a self-governing private man that is sovereign, it is to an extent of a spiritual, my conscious under the dome, in the brain, inside here is the spirit and of indeed my soul. So a soul and a spirit, whichever way, the kundalini, it's got different names, your spirit, what you are, your energy, the creators, your consciousness, is the sovereignty part. It's nothing to do with monarchy. It's nothing to do with thinking I'm better than you, or I am an overlord of some kind, or my Jeremita gematria blood here has got. No, it's just about my perception. And the word sovereignty is not a bad word to be using. It's not a bad negative. It's got no liability at all with it. It's just a word of which I want to further cement. And for the officers out there, the state troopers, or anybody who's really just thought, there's something wrong, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Well, I give to you this. You cannot, thou shall not trade souls with birth certificates. No, you will not. And man has got confused, up until, what was we saying now? This come from, I think, Brother Stephen. When we was up there doing the key competence for the officer-agent interaction. Remember, I am working on that as well as this duality going off and other things going in the mix. So forgive me while, I do 3 jobs at once and take an eternity to get them done. But trust me, I do need to, it will be better. But Stephen was saying that the war after Second World War, man, education systems and management and accounting and knowledge of estates and all of this was just down driven, and you was knowledgeable back in the let's say the late 40s, early 50s, and then it was a big downturn, I'd say, after the 50s, and we was talking about the knowledge, the identity, the indoctrination, the camps and so forth. So it's a shame. It is a shame. It's a shame that you're never gonna know. It's a shame. So it's random, but it is a part of what I'm doing here, and I wanted to give that to YouTube. And for those that have just joined, because there was 2 on for quite a while, you got 1,100 special words there, but that does include Hammurabi Code from Babylon, and its 282 Code of Secular Civil Laws, which is ultimately where I've dug and found out what this continuation of the timeline of whom, what, where, and why, going back. Which one is it? Come on, because there's too many. There is 282 to be precise. Too many. 200. Funny, not funny. Pikachu. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That's the one. Thank you, brain. It's getting better. The silver water. If you've got memory degradation, yeah, well, I'll say nothing. I just think that the silver water might be helping with my memory, or something's changed recently. So the 282 secular laws there of Hammurabi Code, Haburabi, from Babylon, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. So we have like Bible extractions saying, studies, scholars that will say that it isn't an eye, it's about proportionality. You don't knock somebody's eye out, damage it, take it out, whatever it is, the eye back in the day. They all say, you've cut my eye, I cannot see. And so I'm going to take your full house and your estate and everything you own for that eye. It's about proportionality. It doesn't mean that because you've accidentally knocked my eye out going down the street on your car, and your speary thing for your fire poker just got like fleur-de-lis bit, took me, or you was fishing or something and it went back, whatever it is, took the eye out. It doesn't mean that, it's about proportionality. It's not that I now need to take your eye out. It's about the proportion. So some in the old, most, basic ways of interpretation will argue that it is the eye for the actual eye, no matter what, it's going down, or we can have it in a proportionate way. So you will be knowledgeable, hear me out, wow, of this in modern day. But part of the 282 codes that come from Babylon that king set up after the roughly first 100 years of it being established, proper crazy. And that was how long ago? Many times ago. Saddam Hussein, I am going to rebuild Babylon, and I'm going to be the next King Nebuchadnezzar. What? I was only a wee boy when I heard that business. I went, who's King Nebuchadnezzar? Sounds funky. No king on this planet with that name I've heard of. Turns out he was a dead man from a long time ago, probably kicking around with Shamash. Shamash potato. No, not Shamash potato. Oh no. So yes, let's take them words out. And just so happens to be 1063, which ruins it all, but I'm too honest for my own good. 6, 7, 8, 9, and that makes 10. There's nothing special about that. Cancel it. It's cancelled. But it just so happens that I got that amount there to get that. That's it. We're done. I'm going to bed. It's nearly 1 o'clock. GMT, or as I like to say, G-anti, as in gin and tonic. Did you like that? What do you think? Eh? So when people say, oh, sovereignty, just, point them to this video, and then they might have a little think about things, and then think, if they do know who they are, and if you, oh wow, I've put Leeds, so I've put this on the .com, and SPL's Pro, my apologies, one, which, W-I-C-H, embarrassing, Leeds, L-E-E-D-S, because when I speed type, and I'm referencing, and going from, and looking at notes, I just get a paragraph of words in my head, and I type it out, and because it's a bit like shorthand, it's not so much a lack of intelligence, it's just Occam's razor, the fastest way will go. And with all this dissonance, all right, where man will look at my work and go, oh look, he can't spell properly. Well, is it that I can't spell? Now we're doing what we're doing. Is it? When I last said to me, when we had a kiss and we said goodbye, she went, hello. I was like, no way, I'm tripping. What? And she went, hello. I went, no, we say goodbye. So funny, bless her little cotton socks, I love her. And that was hysterical. And I went, so you say hello when you say goodbye, and when we meet, you say see ya. All right, it's spelled S-Z-I-A. It's not spelled S-E-E-Y-A or C-U, be seeing you, as it's traditional English there, latter English Babylon. So I just thought, is it us? I laughed at her. I had the audacity, British. Yes, it's us. What? Yeah, we're very clever, aren't we? Very clever. Yeah. So I just thought I'd share that with you. It's sometimes, so when I look at this now, I'm not so critical on myself, and I don't think you should be either. Those of you out there, of which there are a great many, because I see and I hear, and you email and you write and you message, and I don't always, oh look at this, it just gets not said, but there is a layer, a level of grammar and understanding and language, and I'm only in the middle, lower middle. So just know that it's a big game doing what we're doing, and we are forgetting what we've been taught, and we're having to relearn a great many chapters of history, of science, of religion, of law, of spirituality, of pre-Catholic and Roman gnosis of Christianity, which is amazingly similar, as I will prove to you, with such things as the Hammurabi Code of Babylon, and the subsequent tales of, this is going to be massive, but that's coming later. This needs to be done first, because it's about souls and man, and it will make pennies drop there, and it will also help. It will help with the key competence, and that's not my help for me, but help for you with the key, putting the key in. Once you have the key, you'll be able to go out and you can compute on the go. You can identify, you can recognize, you can accept, and you can learn these business policies. To be fair, business policies. It's nothing special. It's nothing magical. It's nothing occult. It has been kept secret. And we've been given a million umpteen other ideologies about whom we really are, where we really are, what we really are, and whom is at the helm there. So there's a fantastic amount of work and information of which we are proud to be privy to, not alone doing, but just privy to. So I want to give you all fist bumps at 1:03. Shut up. Oh, alright, there's threes and ones again. And of this Saturday. And I'll be back next week, maybe Sunday. We'll see what go on in Babylon, the 10th of August. And infantry, infirmed and insane, stillborns. I'm sorry for the language. Again, I'll apologise. I'm not somebody that takes glorification in upset. I'm here to try and do quite the opposite, even though it's like a salmon swimming up a stream for 5 years, and never getting to that pond. I'm getting tired now. The scales have flaked off. I'm pretty much, defenceless. My fins are a bit poorly. Thank you all for the help and the continuous support, the super chats, the donations. I am, as I say about money, the way I am about money because of this and the soul and the profit and the banking and the churches and everything. And what's going on out there. I'm taking a lot of praise. We're taking some grumble. Systems are getting better. Communication's getting better. And our work is getting cutting edge more so. This is already out there. It's available on YouTube videos, on websites, on WordPress sites. The thing is, when you cut and paste and copy and make umpteen files over so many years, and then you start regrouping it when you build a website, not all of it is is put into labeled documents. It's just new document 1, new document 2, new document 3. Oh my days, I so regret. You think it's a quick thing, don't you? Oh, just save that there. Then there's that many of them, and they're all important. You've got to go through, and you've got nothing. And it's just so. Beg my pardon and apologies. That is a smoker's cough, isn't it? I will make that better, and we will always give to you the authors and the work and the study where it comes from. It's just sometimes in the line of work and having crashes and hacks and system things and external USBs and external and things scattered north, south, east and west. You must give me a bit of a breather when I fail to notice and put and citate every single place that man may have been upon his own private discovery that I've formed into a video blog. A .com website, trust, equity, whatever this has become now, with a covenant still stuck to what we all was put into. It appears when you look at the ancient pre-Catholic and the Christian pre-Christian gnostices around the world. It is a slap in the face to me. What the failings have been, the massive megalithic items and things that have been found. What was it that I was like, when they found that in the 90s, I was like, oh, it was in the 90s when they brought out that, because I was a pyramid fascinated with pyramids at the time, always am a pyramid fanatic, Egyptian fanatic. Come on, David. They put the 3 stars, Orion's belt, onto the pyramids of Giza and says, Bumshanka, these blocks of stone right here are pointing up to that there. Orion constellation, astrotheological, that bit that we've all, which ties in with this again. So, how this has come to be, this is just, madness, randomness in some way, divinity in another, synchronicity. My brain was built for many things, but I never envisaged these findings and procrastinations. It's oft times with these words. I've always shied away from the Bible and God and biblical things, and it's not really relevant. It's nothing to do with me. I've got a soul. I'm a good guy. Blah blah blah. So you choose your path. You choose how you go, what you do. You do not ever have to use the word sovereign, but you may want to contemplate, I am a private, and so forth, rather than saying public. So like the key would be private, not sovereign. Yes, if you are public, you would accept public. If you are bothered about sin and you are very religious and you pray and you go to, like my brothers and sisters out there, bro stars and sisters that go to churches, temples, no synagogues, definitely not got anybody I know that goes to a synagogue, mosques and so forth, and pray and give praise and respect and honour to their gods, then then if you question anything, then I'm sorry to have done that. I'm just bringing you the works and findings of articulate, concise researchers over tens of years and hundreds of thousands of hours of research by many and various that continue to be perfected. So take this and do with it what you wish, what you will. You may have seen yourself in a new way, in a new light. You may think of it as this military that we've pointed out. This is the way it is, and it is life and death, and it is a game. It's a game of life. And ignorance, the final closing words, ignorance and denial of things only protect the current evil, corrupt ways. So if you're just one of those that think, it's all right, ignorance is bliss, hakuna matata, no worries, it's a great philosophy to have, but you are, making the timeline for the next lot. It's a bit like Back to the Future or Terminator kind of, but going forward rather than back. If we can see the future and it's there and apparent, it's vivid in man's mind, and we are here now, and we know what we have to do now to get that image changed to a better image, but nobody's doing it, so we can see the future appearing before our eyes. See the future before your eyes. What's that tune? The future is before your eyes. It must be Mickey Finn. Some Justice, One Family programming. See what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm weird. Mickey Finn, Summer Justice. We live as one family. The future is before your eyes. Thank you, brain, for that. So that's the point now. Even though it might be from 1990s broken beat, hardcore acid house, a man like Mickey Finn, chin, so I'll leave it at that. I can only do so much. I'm alright, Jack. I'm good. I'm fine. I don't have to worry about nobody. I've got no guilt, conscience, conscientiousness, but those words, those positions, something for you to think about whilst we're generating the next wave, alright, which is going to be just exclusively .com. I'm preparing you and giving you an angle here of what and where and who and why, so you get an indication. It's all very well and good going out there and proclaiming and thinking and saying and getting your war tools ready, war tools, coat of arms, crests, and military combatants again. You're keeping, that's why we shied away from that when man come out and said, I've got a flag, I've got this idea, I'm going to do this. We're like, well, are you sure? Are you protected? What do you mean protected? Well, your estate and everything, your family, your bits, your will, have you declared? No, nothing. All right, but you're going out to battle. Oh, before they went out in the battle, in the old days, my son, Marlene, you know what they used to do? They used to get a trustee and then give their estate to the trustee. And if he didn't come back from battle, man's going to sort it out for him. They didn't just go out to battle and think, be all right, I'll be coming back, I'm coming back. You see? Do you see what they do to you? So this is just a little soups on for all those out there, haters, trills, sovereign, you can't be. Smith has played a large part in this. The Bible played an even bigger part because it was there before Smithy and I and you. It was written, by other mans for us. It's a book of law. It's a story about law and rights, in my opinion. Again, I'm not here to test your faith. I'm not here to offend you. I have a right. I have a freedom of speech. I've done the research. I'm one of the men on this planet that would know. If I believed it was true, I'd tell you I think that's a true story. I think that crusade fiction, that cross of fiction, was actually real. I think they misnamed that cross. I think they got that cross name wrong. A holy book. It is a holy book. There's more holes in it than that sieve over there that our lass uses to make a magic, lovely, thingy, whatever it is, fluffy, cakey things. It's a good sieve. Shiny. It's full of holes. Holy as. Children, we've mentioned this before, so it's been put together for you again in a different way, for the collective, for the cooperative. Equity doesn't aid a volunteer. If ever you've wondered, well, what is a volunteer? Ta-da! It's done. Now you know. It will be put into a nice little format. I can see G-Star. David, you didn't tell me about this. I didn't know about this. Where is it? You can't publish anything till it's all... No, we can. We can show our works in progress, and when it's ready and done, it will be published, and it will be polished even before being published. Polish is off, is what Greg's skills are there with the PDFs and whatnot. So we will make sure that that's done, and I have too much to say and no time to get it down and type it, and trust me, it will get done, but we are prioritising. So the idea of prioritising is to get the others that are almost there, so then you can help out and be stronger, and more use of the time of which is screaming out for more help in many areas, but mostly the ship areas that have control. We need to de-ship the land. These what would we say, dry docked vessels in the dry dock. They need to be undocked. We need to undock them, undocker sons, undocker mans we want. We need to pry them off land mass, and at some point we need to address London and the square mile and the insurgents, the true insurgents, the true and only militant combatants. Well, I say true and only militant combatants. Unauthorised, vexatious, malicious, malingerous, egregious. I could go on for years with words, I could. So them mothers down there, we got to have a word. And the QE2, well, we leave that alone, because that's poking a sleeping dog. But we're doing her a favour, because she and them, as we know, stone of scones and whatnot. AD, that chat earlier was massive. Wow. Can't even touch on that, but the corruptions and the claims of kingships and lordships and everything, these ships battling each other in the seas of space, the seas of commerce and the seas of admiralty within on our land, is directly affecting. So Trustee is a ship also as well, to be fair, so it's not all great there. There's a lot of ships that are hidden in the words when you fully get the etymological links, and you look at dictionaries and you find the derivatives and meanings, of, then very clever. I'll give it that. Didn't happen overnight. No, it didn't. Did not happen overnight. And there's been a lot. Look at what the Catholic Church has said since. Where are we? 2011, when I got ears pricked up proprio, and have a look at the declarations and the feelings that they're saying. I was surprised to find that they had 11, 12 observatory telescopes that are looking at space and various constellations at the minute. There's nothing to do with the stars, and we're all disconnected from them. But yet the Vatican, they watch. They've got where is it, near the Hopi tribe on that mountain. Yes, splintering, here we go. The Hopi tribe mountain, I forget the name now, but the Vatican's got the up that way, looking up at the constellations of pyramids, Orion's belt. They're just all bricks then. I'm like, why the Vatican studying the stars? What do they need to know? What do they need to watch of? And then we've got the Vatican, the obelisk in the middle that I believe is acting as a sundial. So when it says the days will grow darker and shorten, it's less with a bit of the Bible that nobody wants to talk about or indeed remember or bring to memory. When these days shorten, what will that do there in that little courtyard? It will tell him straight away, there you go, days are getting shorter. How do you know? Look at sundial. So just bear that in mind. We'll say hello to the scribes, and then man's off. Hope you enjoyed that. Bonjour, excellent, MG. The saute, big love all, nice one, thank you. With friends. No, you should have told me, I should have looked. Oh, the shame. Hope you enjoyed, friends. Now we're all friends. Nice one. Off-road in treacherous conditions, this road. What you do with that for, MG? What's going down? Serious bike overhaul tomorrow. Oh yes, you get the jet wash out, my son. Put your goggles on. It's now getting a little stone in your eye. Oh, it's the worst. You can't jet wash it out because your eye will come out. An eye for an eye, though. Your mate does it. Takes your eye out. We've already covered that, haven't we? Hey, bosh. Sorry. I need sleep now. I really do. I tell you, I love riding in the wind. Even better if it's raining. The saute. The sweetest things are said by the saute. Riding in the wind. Bike made for two. Horse and carriage. I had to do that at school. Oh wow, that was so hard and rubbish and annoying all at the same time, but needed to be done. Or the Welsh music teacher, Mr. Jones. Yeah, he was where was he? Ashlawn School in Rugby. If you went to Ashlawn School, and there was a girl there called Shelley that used to just crease me up, man. Oh my God, she really used to just despise it, and he used to pick on her and no, and he'd make her sing and stuff, and she didn't want to sing, and I'd just crease, and he'd see me creasing. It was like a crescendo of innocent, but he despised it. He did. He can't smile in the music lesson. I think he had smelly breath like coffee as well, and when he came up to you and he spoke to you and he had all that on you, and it was like, fag and coffee. Blessed, don't know how I got to that, but yeah, shared too much, haven't I? Riding in the wind, Daisy, music, Jonesy, splintered. Nice one. I love the pain, David. Oh, it's night time, don't make me laugh. Look at the screensaver though. I'm going to show you because I just thought, what can you put? What can you have for your screensaver, Dave? But king is part of a ship, so I dropped one there, didn't I? I'm no king, I am a master. It's getting changed to master, David. But yes, man can dream one day of getting next to walking with the creator. Terminator, time in a Taurus, Terminator, term in a tour, term is time, time in a tour. That's us. I love the pain, MG. I could chat to you about pain. What is the worst pain you've ever had then? If you love the pain, you must be a motorbiker. You must have a fast motorbike. You must have had some crashes, been wrapped round some trees. Scotched and burnt some skin on the gravel and collected a few stones under its skin. That kills. For me, falling off a cliff, alright, I'm not trying to win the competition, but we went to Devon, Sandy Bay, Sandy Cove, Exeter, somewhere around there. Been there 2 hours, 6-hour drive, 40 degrees, found some rope, tied it on the fence. After going through caravans, I found the cliff. After an hour, I looked over, I thought, that's not too high. It's Exeter, so you go there, you see the cliffs, they're still the same size, but to a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, they're quite big. And I tied the rope on, and I was going down the cliff face. Said this a few times on tube, but I was holding the rope, and then I noticed the cliff face was going very fast. I'm like, but I'm holding the rope. I actually thought, I'm holding the rope. And my brain went, oh. And then I realised the rope's come off the top, and then by all that had happened, which seemed like probably a week, I was having a chat with myself while I was watching the cliff face fall. It was really a split second. I then decided to think about turning around because I'm looking like this and going out that way. That was some pain. It was a Pebble Beach. I was 11 years old. It was 40 degrees and I broke my wrist and my arm. Tibula, fibula, no, ulna, radius, ulna, leg, tibula, fibula, ulnus, radius, wrist, smasher. So I don't like the pain, MG. I'm a pain man. My tiny eyes have cried too many times. Broke my leg on the green in Rugby again. a guy called Brian of the Batten clan. I can say it's all true. You know, he can't come and claim off me. I should be claiming off him. The police turned up. He did it on purpose. He jumped on me. A bloke, a lad, a brother, Clinton and Ben and Anthony of rugby were there. They witnessed that. They heard the bones crack. Everybody did on the field. That's how bad that was. Again, I don't like the pain, MG. That should have been, you know, your kind of field there, my man. Ooh, I tell thee, I did rub it, I did cry a bit, and I wanted to smash him. He did it on purpose. Everybody heard them crack. I had an egg within seconds. That was some pain that man never needs to know about. When you see it coming, and you know it's coming, and you hear it, and you think, and then there's no pain. Now, this is the weird part. There's no pain. You're like, I clearly heard a crack. It was my leg. Fatty Batten, as we used to call him, because I'm looking up now as if I'm on the floor and he was up there as it was at the time. And I thought, no pain, winner. That's the shock. Oh wow. After about 30 seconds and I saw the skin egg up and it all went white and blue and the veins, it was just like like I had an alien from James Cameron himself injected under my skin when I wasn't looking. And that's what was really happening. And then I just felt the pain. It just went, all the skin got tight, the heat came on, I could feel my heartbeat within my leg. I was like, oh, and that was it. I just like, crying. And that was pain, MG. I don't like pain. I've had car crashes, I've rolled cars accidentally on ice, had the seatbelt on, bashed around a bit, split my skin there. That was quite painful. So losing my children, access to my blood and assets, that's man's pain, that's not my pain, that's part of my pain with my Brendan and Samuel. But man and woman, when the woman and the man are separated, the father and the mother are separated, that's pain. It doesn't matter how big, this isn't to UMG now, this is just a broader, I did say finishing thingies earlier, and here we are still, wow. Back doors open, neighbours can hear me, poor Anne-Marie's neighbours. And pain, you shouldn't have to, this is why we're here, this is why that's just been read out, and I say dejour soverignty to publicise it a bit more, to put a spin on it, to get some hype on it, because ultimately you shouldn't be separated from your blood. You should know how to speak, you should know how to instruct and require and not tolerate, and that doesn't involve being a gangster, stabbing anyone, being vexatious, thinking you're better than anyone. It just needs a little bit more education and time. And that pain of being cut, alienated, ostracised, well, it's not even like being cut. Sometimes it's like a rusty blade hacking through a sensitive area of your body and cutting it off when they do it. It's a long, drawn out, dirty, horrible process full of mistakes and pain, false hopes and promises. It's just dirty. So thank you for that, MG. I wasn't at you at all. Maximum respect to all out there, and to me and to other dads and mums that have been a victim of this legal Roman civil, I will say Babylon again, because it is traceable to the Hammurabi codes, which go back way back before Jebus and all of the ites and Canites and Canaans and Hebrew and Judea, and way before that, Shamash, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Numa Elish. There's just too much. I need more. Come on, where are you? Hangouts has ended. Wow, we've got loads to get out still, absolutely loads. But we're doing the basics. I'm trying to be calm and timelined on it, but trust me, some of them things there. And now you've got Billy Carson linked up with Matthew, and more coming out. I don't know what Gaia's doing. I refuse to sign up for Gaia, but it's like, oh, we're missing out. No, it's all there to be found. Don't worry. We have information coming. It's just too much to put out, and you guys are overloading as you are putting it out on your channels and interacting. It's like riding in wind. It's proper Boa Tel. We've got to go. Come on. I've got to take our lass out tomorrow, and I will get I will get some pain tomorrow if I'm not up. I could stay here all night. Mountain bike, mate. So I had to go for 2 years, nearly drove me to the end. Oh, alright then. Much love to you. Sorry, I sympathise. Physical exercise is good though. Yes, the lactic acids and the bits that you get there. Then, so you all know all about the fake dopamine that these internet generated media things give us, and how they take our time, and what you should be having is serotonin or proper MDMA ecstasy, like, you know, creations of rather than dopamine. So yes, you know about the chemicals and the science of the body and the brain. You like it. I know what you mean now. Arnie said that he used to get high and smoke a bit of weed before he went training because he'd like to push his body and feel extra pain. So that's just made me think what he said. You must have that same mentality. Are you built like Arnie, MG? If so, easy, brother. I've always liked you. I've always said you're fucking mint. Well, no, I'm not that shallow. I don't really like pain at all, if I'm honest. Stop it. Between the pain is a lesson, between sorrow is hope, beneath struggle is courage. Lisa, you've just said something beautiful. We're going to end it on that before we ruin it. I'm going to tuck the stool in. I'm going to give you some love arts and say, dejour sovereignty I give to you. My pleasure. The pleasure of the internet and all of those that have helped contribute to that work. One special brother in particular has been in touch of late and pointed me into a more acute direction of inquiry and consideration for the content of that which you've just heard. Proper dejour sovereignty, proper Boatelli. Alright, much love. And these casts have to stop. They stick to day and evening. Alright, it's bedtime, fam. That's what that means. When the big hand is on the 6 and the little hand is between the 1 and the 2, it's nearly bedtime. At 2 o'clock, okay, nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m. If you're a clubber and a DJ type like I used to be, know this from old man David, who has the wisdom and the gnosis to tell you this firsthand. After 2 o'clock, I'll look this way. Let me do this. Let me do this. After 2 a.m, nothing good will ever happen. Go home, and you can thank me for it another day. And you've still got your phone, your wallet, your keys, your dignity, and your sanity, and only a medium poison headache. Thank you very much. Big love. Yes, Lisa. That was very nice to end. We'll leave it like that. Ciao, bello. Stay self-governing and private. Share that video and that content to whom you may wish. Alright. And that is definitely saved. Let me just... Peace and love. Ciao, bello. Thank you all. Good night.